Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. Today I'm reviewing all three bikes. 1 month later, what's been my experience? What are the pros and cons? What are the price differences? What are the special details about each bike? What makes them worth the money that you pay? As you know, recently, in the past month or so, I've been doing e-bike reviews. This Nakto has been my first e-bike. It also happens to be a folding e-bike. My second bike was the Haoqi, large mountain bike, 26-inch. All three bikes are fat tire bikes, meaning that the width of the tire has to be more than 3 inches, of which these are 4 inches. There are lots of differences in price with these bikes. This is also the most recent bike that I got, and it's also a folding bike, and it's made by Hitway. And it's also a 4-inch wide fat tire bike. They're all great. I love all three of them. But do I have a favorite? Absolutely. Which one do you think is my favorite? It's obvious my favorite is the big one because it's big. Now, big doesn't always mean better, right? If you live in a small apartment and you're pressed for storage space, you may want to consider a folding e-bike. If you're a college student or just getting off to a new job and you live relatively close to your work, instead of walking or taking the bus or subway to work, you can easily just hop on your e-bike and off you go. So what are the differences? I'll tell you right now. So first we're going to talk about price. The Hitway costs about $700, and it comes with one lithium-ion battery that's integrated in the top tube of the bike frame. This was also about $899, $900, but on sale you can get it for $699. The battery is located right under the seat. It has a pivoting seat that goes forward, allowing you to remove the battery with a handle and a lock. They all use keys to unlock. The range on these two folding bikes over here is about, they claim 40 to 50 miles. But in reality, if you're just using the throttle and you're not pedal assisting, meaning you're not pedaling at all to assist the bike, obviously, if you're pedaling also in the majority of the times that you're riding, you're gonna help it with your own power. But if you wanted to be lazy, as I usually am, just throttling and not pedaling at all, the range is like about 20. You're still gonna get pretty far. 20 miles is very far, especially if you don't have to pedal. The batteries usually take about 5 to 6 hours to charge fully. Of these bikes, you can probably put a 200 to 250 pound person on here and it'll ride just fine. Now for off-roading, which fat tire bikes are designed for, you'd have to let the air out so it's a little bit more cushiony. That way, if you go off-roading, you go over bumps and stuff like that, it's not really tough on their body. You get a better ride. But if you're riding on asphalt like me, you pump them up about 15 or 20 PSI. That way you roll really nicely and you increase the range when you do that. So these two folding bikes, what are the disadvantages of each? Well, number one, what I've experienced over the past month is that the Hitway bike doesn't seem to keep the charge as good as the other two. Like, I feel like that runs out of battery much quicker than these. That may be due to the amperage of the battery rating. The higher the battery rating, such as 7 amps compared to 12 amps, could make a big difference. They all have digital readouts showing an odometer, how fast you're going, how much power is being inputted through the throttle, how many bars of battery you have left, all the essential things that you need to know, the information on board of the bike. They all have. They all also have a secret code where you can enter to maximize the speed. So for instance, the Hitway goes about 18, 19 miles an hour with a range of about 25 if you don't pedal assist. Same goes for this one. These both have front and rear disc brakes, and they work great. The bad thing about the Nakto is that the handlebars are fixed. As you can see, the Nakto cuts in half with this quick disconnect lever. So this bike folds in half for easy storage. However, if you look at the handlebars, the neck are 4 hex bolts that hold it permanently or semi-permanently. There's no quick disconnect to release the handlebars to put it lower to make this more compact for storage. Kind of defeats the purpose of it being a folding bike because essentially the handlebars are not foldable. So that's a con. If you compare it to the Hitway, you do have it folding in the half, just like that one, with a quick disconnect lever. But this also has the capability of quick disconnecting the handlebars. And the handlebars simply fold down as well to give it a more compact storage area. Like I said, they both have disc brakes, mechanical, that are activated with your mountain bike levers. Now let's talk about the Haoqi. So the range on this is advertised up to 85 miles. I know, that's a little hard to believe, right? Well, they're assuming that you also pedal assist to help it out. If you didn't help it out, you'd probably go maybe 45, 50 mile range. Why? Because not only does this have one lithium-ion battery that's highly rated, it also has another one inside the bottom tube frame. So this has the power of 2 lithium-ion batteries with high amperage rating to give it that range. So this one can take you easily 50 miles. If you pedal assist, it may do the 85 miles that it's advertised to do. As you can see, this also is a fat tire bike with 26-inch diameter rims and 4 inches wide. Another great feature of the Haoqi is that this has hydraulic brakes. Hydraulic brakes are similar to a motorcycle, but simply that the hydraulic fluid in here, or brake fluid, is sealed and not maintainable. Honestly though, after riding all 3 bikes for a certain period of time, you really don't feel the difference between a mechanical disc brakes and hydraulic brakes. As a matter of fact, sometimes the hydraulic brakes get hung up and you could actually hear the brake pads rubbing on the disc. So honestly, I kind of prefer the mechanical one. They all have some sort of bell when this thing is not touching. There you go. And of course, since this is my favorite bike, I put accessories on it, such as side, left and right, rear view mirrors, as well as a phone mount. Because it's my favorite, I also put a cargo bin on it, as well as dual saddle bags in the back. That way you can carry all kinds of stuff. The bad thing about the Nakto one is that A, it doesn't fold down with a quick disconnect to lower the handlebars to fold. And also, it doesn't come with a tail light reflector or tail lights. I had to put my own on there. The Haoqi and the Hitway both have a rear tail light, LED light, that when you depress the brake levers, it'll light up like a regular car tail light, which is very good for safety. While they all have LED headlights, the Nakto one doesn't even have reflectors on the wheels like the Hitway and the Haoqi bike. To address battery charging and lithium-ion fires, we want to talk about the safety of that. So to dispel some of the myths is that people think, oh, these batteries will just blow up anytime, anywhere, to anybody. It's not really true. The battery fires you see on scooters and e-bikes are all due to malfunctions in your charging. If you overcharge or you buy a cheap non-UL certified charging brick that doesn't have a BMS system, which is a battery management system, You plug that in to charge your battery and it never stops charging. All three of these bikes came with a battery charger that was BMS system certified, meaning that once the battery is completely fully charged, the charger shuts off and no longer sends current to the battery. Therefore, you won't have battery fires. Battery fires also occur if the battery is damaged, dropped, punctured, or in extreme heat. So as long as you satisfy all those things and avoid doing those things, you're never gonna have a battery fire. But to make things safe, all three of these bikes have a capability of removing the lithium-ion battery pack out of it so that you can take it out and charge it, let's say, outside, like in the middle of your driveway. So that way you feel safe that if it did happen, you wouldn't burn your house down. And that's how I charge my batteries. Outside, monitored by my surveillance system. I wouldn't charge these things in your house or apartment, especially if you're not watching it. So as you can see, most of the components are made by Shimano, which is a good brand from Japan. All three do come with a integrated bike rack, so you can put cargo and things and strap it on there with some sort of bungee cord. The grips are contoured, rubber coated. It always has a bell. And your gear shifters are your standard 7-speed or 6-speed, something like that. The Hitway bike has a more contoured saddle or seat is what they call it. Like I said, pretty similar. Whereas the throttle here is a lever throttle. The Hitway is the entire grip has a half-turn throttle. I like the seat for the Nakto because of the color. Made out of nice leather. But this one here, I mean, you just look at it. It's a beast. Look at the upper tubes and bottom tubes. This is also a full suspension bike. As you can see, you have a frame shock here, as well as front shocks on the fork, which are lockable and adjustable to your needs. The entire frame is just very beefy looking, which is why I chose this bike to accessorize all kinds of great accessories. It does have a nice brake LED light. And it's just an aesthetically pleasing bike that I enjoy riding quite a bit. And because the range is so much higher than these other two bikes, I feel that sky's the limit on this. I can go anywhere with this and not worry about running out of battery juice. On the flip side, if I lived in a small apartment and space is very valuable, where am I going to keep this in my apartment? I don't want to leave it outside because it's easy for thieves to simply use an angle grinder and cut through any lock that's holding these bikes. Not to mention it could get vandalized or damaged. Any way they could try to steal it, they're going to steal it if they want to. So having this stored in your small apartment, being it foldable, is pretty convenient. So which one's the best? It really is all relative. If you need a folding bike, then a folding bike is for you. If you don't need a folding bike, I'd like to have one that has a lot of range so that I can be sure that I'm gonna go somewhere really far away and not run out of battery and be stuck somewhere and have to actually pedal using my legs, you know what I mean? Also, even though the Haoqi is by far my favorite bike, it also costs more than double of the foldable bikes. So it's really up to you what you want to buy. Yes, the foldable bikes can go a maximum speed of about 19. If you want to spend more than double, you can go about 25. So like I said, it's all about an individual person's opinion and needs. But as you can see, the Haoqi one is badass. I love riding around the neighborhood in my electric bike because on summer days like today, it's so very refreshing to be outdoors. It doesn't make much noise, doesn't really cost anything because you just charge it up, and it really is very enjoyable to ride. That's why they're so popular. But remember, there are hundreds of different brands. Most of them are from China, so to make them very affordable. Affordable in terms of pretty much free transportation. So number one on my list is the Haoqi Cheetah 26-inch mountain bike. My second favorite is this one, and it rides great. But like I said, I do feel like the battery runs out faster on this than the other two. I don't know why. It's probably because of the amps per hour rating on the battery. So if you're thinking about an e-bike, do your research. There's lots of YouTube videos on every model that they make. And there's a lot, between 50 and 100 different brand names of e-bikes. Do your research, watch your videos, compare them to the things that I've talked about today. If you need a folding bike, make sure that the handlebars also fold. Make sure that the amperage per hour on the battery is high, above 10. And if you're into the look of a fat tire bike, these are the way to go. But if you're not really going to go off-road, you really don't need it. It just adds weight. But I like them because it looks cool. And once you get your e-bike, you can make it your own with all kinds of great accessories to make your riding experience much better. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.